and let us get ready to rumble. Welcome to Save My EU. I'm Q, and this is all about finding boring solutions to very interesting issues around the upcoming EU elections. Today's subject is religion. Is Europe Christian? Do Christian values guide us? How does religion work in law? How does it work in practice? How should we look at it in this changing world? I'll be looking at these things, and I will emphasize that it is not my intention to step on anyone's toes. I realize that religion is a sensitive subject, but I am going to try to keep both my feet on the ground here and keep this as a boring analysis as what it should be on this channel. Let's see where we go today. Thank you. Okay, is Europe Christian? This is a very common talk, and are Christian values the right base for Europe and the EU to move forward? I don't think I can answer that. The EU certainly has a lot of history with Christianity. The history of Europe and European cooperation dates far longer than Christianity. Of course, Christianity was pretty much built in Europe, even though the Middle East is where it started, but it became a thing in Europe. It was built in Europe. There's a lot of interesting Wikipedia articles on the history of Christianity in Europe and early Christianity and so on. I need not go into those details here, but okay, we can say Europe is Christian or not. I'd say I would avoid this subject because it doesn't really tell anything. But we can certainly say that Christianity has sailed together with the development of Europe and the EU. It can certainly offer a lot of insights into our past. And if and when Christianity, or some forms of it, some offshoots of it, have provided good ideas, good thoughts, then of course we need to accept them. But I will show you one thing here. Now, this is from Wikipedia about Christianity in Europe. There is the point, of course, that we see multiple colors here. When we say that Europe is Christian, we actually say that Europe is quite a rainbow of Christianity. And we have many denominations. And of course, if we look at the minor ones, it would be much more colorful. Those were just the majorities. But we have a lot of varieties of Christianity, and we get along. But when we get into religious debate, it doesn't always work out that well. Some things are very, very, very sensitive to people in, say, Orthodox countries, and whereas Lutheran countries don't really go out to the streets for the same matters, or the position of the Pope, for example. These are sensitive, and it's good to remember that when we say Christianity in Europe, we can say Europe, but Christianity is bits and pieces. Okay. Now, looking at how we handle religion, of course, it's a very turbulent time for that. But I'm going to put down the point. There is religion and there is faith. And in all simplicity, this is how it goes. The approximate location of faith is the human heart. Faith, it inspires poets, music pieces, all kinds of artwork. It inspires all kinds of creativity, but it does not go into words. You cannot take the whole feeling of faith and put it into words. It can never exist as words. It can only exist as thought, as inspiration. We see the light, but we can't analyze the light source. And that's okay. And because of this, and I emphasize, because of how faith doesn't work in words, it can never be completely shared. The inspiration can be shared, of course. Many of the feelings, many of the interpretations can be shared, but faith itself is just not something that can come out of the human heart or mind. I mean, depending on where you look at it, but metaphorically, we can say it's the heart. On the other hand, religion is an organization. It's a club. It's as interesting as a book club. Religion, here shown as a building. Religion is made 100% by humans, for humans, with very interesting historical contexts where we can see what it was built for. Like any human construct, it can be used for good or bad. It is very completely human construct. Completely. And that's how I think we should look at it. And I don't believe we can or we should have any legal framework that lifts one human organizational concept above any other. Religion has to be viewed through very human and mundane laws and regulations, and there is no reason why it should be any higher. Today, this is much, much more important because a lot of people are turning away from religion. That's fine. That's quite allowed in Europe. But people still need to coin a phrase, fuel their souls. There might be mindfulness, environmentalism, many of these things that fill the soul. I mean, there are far better psychological ways to say it, but that's the key point of it. So why should an organization that teaches mindfulness in a completely non-religious way, I realize it has a religious background in a way, why would it be on a different pedestal as one that teaches what we consider religious materials? Why should these be any different? Because they're both about empowering the human mind, the human soul, answering questions and which don't have answers. It's about seeking the answers, not answering the questions in itself. And as for many countries have laws against even the very free countries have laws that basically protect the feelings of God. And speaking bad about a religious character in any religion can get you fines. It can get you jailed, and of course, in some countries outside the EU, you could lose your head from it. But remember, these are human constructs, these religions. They don't deserve to be above the law, but with the law, living together, and that's how we're going to get into the point of freedom and free thought in Europe. And this goes to my next point here. Now, keeping this in mind here, okay, these same basics. Now, I spoke about law, okay, legally, how religion is viewed differently, but it's not just legal. I'm telling you a little story, one that I've witnessed, and many versions of it, many varieties of it go around, all around. Okay, so go to 2015. There was a huge influx of asylum seekers into Europe. And of course, a lot of organizations, in this case, a local church, a Lutheran church, organized volunteer workers to arrange activities for these asylum seekers. Very, very good work, absolutely. I mean, all kinds of this kind of activity, that was great work. I want to thank everyone for participating. Volunteer work is wonderful. Okay, so they organize like these gatherings. Let's get together. Let's talk about local customs. Let's talk about local language. Let's learn about where you're from and what you're thinking. So we have this around the table. People, there are these volunteer workers, asylum seekers on the other hand, and there's a little bit of introduction going on, like, where are you from? I'm from here, I'm from there. And one person, an asylum seeker, speaks up and says that I'm from Iraq, I'm from a Sunni family, and I've come here now. And the volunteer worker, the local church, eyes light up wonderfully. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so wonderful. I've heard so much beautiful things about Islam and what you could teach us. Please tell us more. I mean, please tell us more about your faith and everything you had, all those traditions you had back in your home country. This asylum seeker turns white as a ghost, barely able to speak, quietly, almost tearful, as, no, I came here to escape that. Islam and the others in that faith and religion there, okay, I messed up my words, okay, others in that religion there, they killed half of my family, they threatened to kill me, I want to get away from it. This has happened. There are a lot of cases of this. And in that moment, that tiny moment, when that asylum seeker speaks his or her mind, okay, changes. That person changes in an instant from loved victim, someone we want to help, into persona non grata. Immediately. The idea that someone would give up their religion, especially a religion that all these people were taught that was so wise and peaceful and wonderful, why would they want to give that up? That's a horrible person. That person is started to be seen as a threat that moment, even though, and I go back to this, we are talking about a human construct. Obviously stronger in some place in the Middle East, but we're talking about a human construct. And that human, with the same human values and rights as everyone else, wants to turn away and wants to resign from his book club, basically. And everything shatters around. That person is not welcome into any more of these gatherings, will not receive help from any volunteer workers, will become a toy for the far right to show that what a horrible thing Islam is and what a horrible thing everyone coming from Islamic countries, how horrible people they are, just because this person is using a very basic EU right, a chance to choose religion. And this is not a legal problem. This is an attitude problem. On one side, we easily make the assumption that everyone comes from a religion they love and they hold into their hearts every second of every day, and they could teach us so much, and they're peaceful and or better than us in every way. On the other hand, we just see an enemy. We don't see people, we see their religions. Now, what we should do, think of a new way of all right, an asylum seeker comes in to EU. Now, religion obviously should not be the first thing we talk about. Right now it is, but it should be on the list, like in the position 179. I mean, first, tend to any immediate medical needs, confirm identity, confirm background, make sure the person has some water to drink, food to eat, some level of shelter. I mean, a lot of basic needs first. Religion should not be there first, but way after we've taken care of the priorities. And then when we start talking about religion, it could go something like this. So, welcome to the EU. Now, this is a place where we have freedom of religion, okay? I just chose a few symbols that were available in public domain there. There are, of course, a lot more. But you're here. You have the option to continue following the religion you have. Just a few ground rules. I mean, equal rights to all genders, and everything happens underneath the law, not above the law. Everyone has the freedom of religion. You can't push that to anyone. I mean, very basic ground rules that apply to everyone. Okay? Or you have the option to choose another one, like we've seen. There's a lot of options. There's, of course, even more options. You are free to choose anything you wish here. You're free to change And you can choose, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. These are all your options. Or this exclamation mark here in the top. If you feel you want to go somewhere else, you have your own thoughts, your own view of faith, which you want to work into your religious thoughts. Hey, go right ahead. Or this one here in the bottom, nothing. It's very much possible. If you want to resign from all religion, that's allowed to. We should put these options equally to the table. Right now, going back, I mentioned that I'm going to put this down, or I'm going to be waving it all the time. As noted, religions are human constructs. They can be used for good or bad. A company can be good or bad. A club can be good or bad. A religion can be good or bad. Now, there are cases with people that have very problematic past, problematic situations. And there are cases when that has come from religion. We should very openly be able to admit to ourselves that, okay, this religion and this person don't really go well hand in hand. We should not put as the first option, okay, let's give him more religion. Because when we have a person we see in risk of radicalization, it comes from religion, and emphasize might not be Islam. This happens in a lot of Christian sects too, of course. Islam is the thing we talk about, but I want to make it clear that the rules are same for all, or at least should be. Okay. A person, risk of radicalization from the religious background. Usually we start at this point talking with faith leaders of this person's religion and seeing how we can integrate him better and teach him better things inside that religion. Why? If a person is involved in an organization that does bad for him, why do we assume that the only solution is working more with that organization? The option to get out, leave that religion, to at least suggest it that maybe this isn't the right thing for you, but no, you can't do it. For some reason, I can scratch my head here all day, I don't figure it, but we're not able to offer the options because we do have these options here. Legally, people have these options here. In practice, we don't offer them. We need to see every religion as an option for every person, or lack of religion an option for every person. That's the direction I think we should go. So, religion, book clubs, faith, inspiration, heart. Fair playing ground. No matter if you're an asylum seeker or someone very local, wherever you are, you deserve the same basic, fundamental European rights. The politicians, the candidates, and the media should also realize this. If religion inspires you, good, very good. If it makes you do something good, if it makes you help people, good. But if it gets you into trouble, recognize it. If you see it gets someone close to you in trouble, recognize it. And legally recognize religions for what they are. Organizations, companies. Not very interesting. In fact, quite boring. And so, even in today's episode, boredom is the solution. And I don't think I have anything more to add to that. Thank you for watching and possibly staying awake. And next week, we'll probably get into something far more exciting, like perhaps EU law. Oh, that sounds quite fascinating. I look forward to it. I hope you do too. Thank you.